BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. How are you today? How are you today? BlaXit family, what a wonderful today is. I have got a very, very special show for you. But if you're new to BlaXit and you don't know what BlaXit is about, BlaXit is all about your relocation, repatriation back to the motherland. And we are here in Gambia on the smiling coast, on the west coast of Africa, which is where we have BlaXited to, which is where we live. And remember, Africa is like a mansion of many beautiful rooms, and you can just choose one. So we've relocated, repatriated, and we live here on the motherland. And we're making shows that, or videos, shows or videos, that will show you about different aspects of repatriation and also about the beautiful Gambia. So, as well as going to other countries, of course. But today we're in the Gambia. So to my right, I have a very special man that you might have only seen a photograph of before, but he's with me to do an interview with you to give you more in-depth information about an Alkalo and what an Alkalo is and Alkalo documents. So this is what we're going to talk about. So I'd like to introduce you to the Alkalo of Casa Kunda, and that is where Jambanjelly Estate is, Casa Kunda 1 and Casa Kunda 2. So Jambanjelly Estate, which is in Casa Kunda Estate 1, which is with Mr. Jallo, who's to my left here. Hello, Mr. Jallo. Hello. And also Casa Kunda 2. So I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Adama Jallo. And you are the Alkalo for Casa Kunda.
Yeah, my father is the Alkalo of Casa Kunda, but I'm doing all the land transfers for him. Because my father is now every land transfer is doing in the village is done by me. Yeah. And the land they are having from Mr. Jallo is a very clear land. There are no dispute there. It's owned by the people who sold it to Mr. Jallo. And Mr. Jallo now sold it to Juliet for his people. And the land also is very clear. No problem at the land. It's owned by the people who sell it to Mr. Jallo. And Mr. Jallo is the rightful owner. He sold it to BlaXit family. Yeah.
Great. So I was about to say, so we also deal with another companies, and they also have land in Casa Kunda. So can you share with us about the land that they have in Casa Kunda, which is Casa Kunda Jambanjelly Estate and Casa Kunda 2. Can you share with us about those two beautiful locations as well?
Okay. Yes, the one Mr. Jallo is having, that one is on the Idle Center properties. And the second land from properties, they have it from estate to properties. And Juliet and his people get it from properties. And it's a very clear land. It's around Jamanjiri, and there is no dispute on that land. Very clear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the other Casa Kunda estate by properties?
Yes, another Casa Kunda estate owned by properties, and these people also get another plot at that land also. It's a very clear land.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now your father is obviously the Alkalo, but he's too old, so he's trained you. Yeah. And so the role of the Alkalo is passed from father to son?
Yeah. Yes, the role of the Alkalo, when my father was the Alkalo. When he passed away, his younger brother, now the head of the village, is like this Alkalo's transfer is only from this father to another father. It's like that. It's traditionally in the our community there. It's traditional. So my father was the Alkalo. When he passed away, and this man, the current Alkalo here, is the take over the village, and I'm the assistant to this Alkalo, who is already in the village already.
So I have a question. So what is an Alkalo? What does Alkalo mean?
Alkalo means the head of the village. The head of the village is the Alkalo, head of the village.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. So as the head of the village, how do you know, like, there's so much land, how do you know like whose land is who and who owns land? Because I will get confused.
Yeah.
How do you keep records of who owns what land? Is it a traditional system or?
Yeah, this is a traditional system because when we were the Alkalos was young, the people who used to farm the land, you know actually who own this area and who don't know own this land, this area. The area everyone Alkalos sign, you know, is the man who is perfect on the land. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a family.
Yeah, it's a family land. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some people say, yeah, that if you have an Alkalo, so some people say that if you have an Alkalo transfer, yeah, it is like the first step to owning land. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. It's the first step of getting the land if you have the Alkalos ownership.
Could you tell him again? Okay, so we have to start again. So, an Alkalo document, it's called an Alkalo. Is it
Transfer
title?
ownership. Transfer ownership.
Okay, Alkalo transfer ownership document. Is this the first step that you need to take in land ownership? Yeah.
Yeah, Alkalo ownership is the first step to have a land. If you don't have that the Alkalo ownership, it means you have no land. You have to have the Alkalo ownership. That is the first step you do before you go to the area council or official transfer. You have to get the Alkalo transfers first. This is the first step of owning a land in the Gambia here.
Okay. Yeah. So if I was to, for example, have a land, do you remember? And I wanted you to come and look at the land for me to tell me if the land was clear or if the land wasn't clear. And so, you know, I took you to this particular land and you said to me, no, Juliet, this land, there are issues. And then you directed me to the owner of the land. And then we went to meet with the owner of the land and he told us the history of the land, which was very good. So, you know, I really want to thank you because you had so much knowledge that gave us the information that we needed not to pursue with that particular land because you helped us. And Mr. Jallo intervened and he took us there, you know, to the land and you helped us. So Mr. Jallo, you know, is of prime importance in the process of working with BlaXit because Mr. Jallo has the experience and we call him Mr. Teacher Jallo affectionately because Mr. Jallo was a teacher for 25 years and is well respected in the community. And so one of the things that I'd like to assure you all is that Mr. Jallo, he knows what he's doing and he's very experienced and he's been a great teacher to me, to be honest with you. I learned more about land from Adama and Mr. Jallo than I had known, even though I was involved with you know, purchasing land from 2015. I've had a real fast track education from working with you both over the last sort of 7-8 months. So I'd like to say firstly, if you could just assure people that, you know, they're in safe hands with you, Mr. Jallo.
What happened is the lands that I sold to BlaXit family are properties that I own. I bought them from the custodians of the lands. And the Alkalo which is here knows about it. You did ask about how does the Alkalo know that this land belongs to this party or that other party. When we say an Alkalo, those are the first settlers in that settlement. In that village, those are the first settlers. So they are the ones who have given land to other people who settle with them. And they know exactly the boundaries of the lands that they have given to these people. So this is why BlaXit family bought their land from me, and I got the land from the custodians of the land where the Alkalo is present. So the Alkalo knows exactly the lands and their boundaries and every other thing concerning that land. The Alkalo is the custodian head of that, is the traditional head of the village. So the whole village depends on the Alkalo, whatever, when it comes to land transfer. When you get a new land in a new location in any village, you go to the Alkalo to get a paper, and that paper is what we call the Alkalo transfer of ownership from the owner to the new buyer. Now that is the first step that you use. Without that one, you cannot even pay your rates for that land. But after getting the Alkalo transfer, that is the paper that you use to pay the rates. You will go to the area council and you pay the rates. And if you want to get clearance for the land and so on and the other documentation, then you use the Alkalo's paper, because that is the reference point. Wherever you go to, you have to go with the Alkalo transfer to make sure that the alkali knows about the land that you are talking about. The land has been bought from X to you, and the owner of the village has attested to the fact. So that is the Alkalo transfer is the most important document, because it is the starting document. That is the document that you can get and then begin your process of whatever paperwork you are going to do. Sure, the Alkalo transfer does not take that long, because the alkali is in the village. You buy a property, then you will go with the owner, the person who sold the property to you. You go to the alkali, and the alkali will attest, and they will give you a form, and then you fill the form and then sign whatever you are supposed to sign. That is what happens. The other paperwork which is on government, that one is the one that takes time. You have to go to physical planning, they have to go there, they have to take the coordinates and other things which are official work, and that one is not very fast. So normally that is what delays. But when you get your Alkalo transfer, be rest assured that you have a piece of land wherever you are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jallo and Adama, I have a piece of land which I bought a few years ago, and it's agricultural land. How do I go about changing from agricultural land into residential land, because I want to build on it now? So I want to change the purpose. I was farming, but now I want to build on it because the area is becoming very built up. So I want to build too. So how do I change it from agricultural use to residential use?
Yeah, what happened in that is you go to the physical planning with your Alkalo transfer. You tell them that I want a transfer of ownership, a transfer of use. You understand? When you go for that transfer of use, then they will take the coordinates and then prepare another one. Of course, there is a little cost involved where you have to pay a certain thing, which I cannot tell exactly, except when you go to the physical planning, but it's not much actually. You go and pay a little thing, and then it is converted from agricultural to residential. You understand?
Yeah.
There is another type where, for instance, I have a big land, I have about 500 by 300. You understand? If I want to change that, there is a cost of $9 per square meter that I am supposed to pay to convert it from agricultural to residential. Or otherwise, I have to forfeit 40% of the land to government and take 60%, and they change it. You understand? So these are the two things. So normally when we go in to change from agricultural to residential, what we go in for is paying the $9 per square meter, and then we change it from agricultural directly to residential, so that when we give it to the people, then the cost will be attached to whatever we have done to change it from agricultural to residential. So this is what happens actually when we change.
Okay, so Adama, back to you now. So I've changed over to residential. Now, I'm a person who was not born in the Gambia. Can I own customary land? Can I own customary land? Because I wasn't born in the Gambia, can I own customary land, and what are the limitations?
Can you own customary land?
Yes, like Alkalo transfer land.
Yes.
Yes, you can have Alkalo's transfer land when you bought it from the land people. When you get the land from the land people, it's obvious you have to have the Alkalo transfer ownership. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Land that you can own here, according to the Constitution, should not be more than 50 by 50.
Okay.
Right? But whether it is customary, it is leased, it is that, or it is that. What the Constitution talks about is it should not be more than 50 by 50.
In size?
In size. Okay. But again, the law is not talking about how many 50 by 50s you can have. So when you get one, you can get another, you can get another, you can get another, and so on and so forth. But every transaction per transaction you can do a 50 by 50 land.
Okay.
Or anything less than that. Okay. You understand? And then it is going to be yours. But what you do is you have to process it normally as we do here. And those who may think that the Alkalo transfer is not important. Brikama, we have over 3,500 compounds, households, settlements, right? People who are living here. We have about 3,500 compounds. Less than 500 compounds are leased. And the rest 3,000 compounds they have only the Alkalo transfer. It is just that they used to pay the rates. Now I will show you the first papers that you made with me. I have gone to the area council. I have paid the rates for those ones. So if it is not legal, I cannot go to the area council and then they allow me to register at the area council and even pay for the taxes that are, the rates that I'm supposed to pay for the year. So which implies that all the 13 people whose papers I am processing, I have paid for their paper transfer for their area council. So they have paid the rates for this year. So it is next year they pay the rates, and they are paying the rates in their own names.
Yes.
So if they cannot own land, how can area council take money from me in the name of those people and put their names on those receipts? Let me just show you the papers.
Okay, sure.
Let me just
Thank
bring
you.
the receipts.
Okay, thank you so much. So Mr. Jallo is just explaining to us the process of ownership, because we think it's very important that you understand the traditional process, because it is far different to the system that you might be used to, because it is an African system.
This one is a transfer from Kasakunda, from Adama's end, right?
Okay.
It's a transfer from Kasakunda.
Yes.
And then this is the transfer of ownership.
Yes.
For this name. What's this name?
Yeah.
Get the name for us.
It's just Paul.
Paul, yeah? This is Paul, not so. Mm-hmm. Now, after doing that, we have gone to the area council, and this is for Paul again. Mm-hmm. The name of Paul is there, right?
Yes.
And it is only the Alkalo transfer yet that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are saying that the Alkalo transfer is not important, I don't think they are making any sense. Yes. Because this is the starting point. Now you have paid your rates at the area council. Mm-hmm. Now the area council is aware that Paul has a place in Kasakunda.
Yes.
Right? So this is what I'm trying to say. So when we talk about the Alkalo transfer, the importance of this cannot be overemphasized. When you get a land here, you must get the Alkalos transfer. We respect our Alkalos, and they have their role in the village that they play. Mm-hmm. So this is why even government recognizes them. So if you want to get a place in this country, first you need an Alkalo transfer. Of course, if it is a leased property, what you need is you need an assignment, which is going to be prepared by a lawyer and things of that nature. But when you go to the village, you want to buy this thing, even the lawyer will come and say, can I get an Alkalo transfer from the Alkali? Yeah. That's the first thing that you do before you, the lawyer will start processing whatever paper, even if you want to lease it.
Yeah.
So the importance of the Alkalo transfer cannot be overemphasized. Okay. So people may say what they want to say, but I know that the lands that I purchased the land in Kasakunda from a family, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I invited the Alkalo before buying this land. Yes. The Alkalo is aware. Adama's father is aware of it, mm-hmm. and so many other people are aware of it, mm-hmm. before we went into an agreement to buy that land. Mm-hmm. So after purchasing that land, that is the land I sold to your people. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes.
And now we are on the paperwork, mm-hmm. which is not in my hands. If it were on my table here, I would have signed everything and given it to you. Mm-hmm. But it has to go to the physical planning. They have to go and ascertain certain things, take the coordinates, and so on and so forth. So this is what is happening right now.
So what is demarcation then? Is that what you make?
When we say demarcation, what we mean is that is subdividing. Some people will say subdividing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, they will say subdividing. That is, you go and then put pegs so that when people come, take them directly and say this is your portion, right? That is what we call demarcation.
And
right?
allocation?
Allocation, that is when I take you to the land and then say this is yours.
Okay.
Now, when I subdivide, you are not there. I have done the division here and there. I take you there and I say this is your property.
Okay.
So I have allocated it to you then.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. So allocation is done on paper. It is done on the ground itself to show you that this is the property. Right? Yeah, that is that.
And then the GRA now. So people have to pay another tax. They paid this tax, and they have to pay another tax. I think it's called.
The GRA
Yes.
is completely different from the rates that you pay at the area council.
Okay.
Those are two different things. The GRA, they ask for the capital gain tax,
Okay.
which you pay at the GRA office, that is Gambia Revenue Authority office.
Okay.
That's a different location.
Okay.
Okay, but the year that you have the land, that you possess the land, you start paying your rates at the area council. If you don't start paying from that moment, whenever, even this is 2020, right? If in 2025 Paul comes with this paper and say I have a land over there, I want to pay the rates, they're going to start counting from 2020. Each year what the rate was going to be accumulated until 2025 and say this is what you're supposed to pay.
Yeah.
So if you're supposed to pay $1,000 per year, then you are going to pay $5,000 because you have not paid it in 2020. That one has nothing to do with GRA. That is the capital gains tax.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So the capital gains tax, what is that, and why do you have to pay it? I mean, not why do you have to pay it, but what is it and how do you pay it? That's more like
Capital gains tax is supposed to be 15% of the worth of the land.
Okay.
That is what you are supposed to pay at GRA. That is 15% of the worth of the land. But here there is some calculation which is done. For instance, I have given the land to you at a lesser price than the actual tariff. But because, for instance, when we take Brikama, for example, which I am familiar of, the 1 square meter in Brikama, the value is $500. 1 square meter is $500. So if you have 200 by 20 by 20, it means you have 400 square meters. When they calculate that, they will see that this land's worth is $200,000. You understand? That is $200,000. But you, Juliet, came to me and then I sold it to you at $50,000. So GRA will go in for the $200,000 and say the value of the land is this. You understand? That one depends on the GRA, that is the Revenue Authority, to say yes, the value of this, oh yes, they have given it to you at a giveaway price, but government is not going to give it to you at a government giveaway price. They are asking for 15% of the value of the land. You understand? So what happens is we take it upon ourselves, mostly. We go and pay the tax for this land. We go and pay the GRA. That's what I mean, the tax for this land, that's the GRA, wherein the people who buy it from us are going to pay lesser. Because if the capital gains tax has been paid by me, then when you come, you are supposed to pay 3 or 2%, right? So that will be an understanding between you and me, because you know I have paid 15%. Right?
Yes.
And then you are now going to pay about 2% or 3%. So we sit and discuss and see what's going to be more reasonable.
Yes.
So that you pay that part of it, and then I will do the paperwork, extract it from mine, because the GRA has already been paid, so that your paper process is further smoothing. At certain times, the paper process takes time. You take it to this place, from there it goes to another office, from there it goes up to another office. So this is why the paperwork sometimes will take time. You understand? From one office it goes to another, from that office it goes to another. But when it is processed and finished and it is out, you are there. You are there to take.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Because I think it's a very important question.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Right.
So, Adrian.
Mr. Jolo, one of the important
Wait, I
questions.
don't want to get the roof, so angle yourself closer from me.
Just if you come to me directly.
No, I am, but it's the roof. Go on.
Yeah.
No, I'm still getting the roof.
But
Go on this side. Go and sit here in the house chair, please.
Right.
It's alright, it's just mine.
I think the question that a lot of
That's
people
better, that's better.
want to hear. Right, so for instance, I come to you to buy the land.
Wait a minute, let me introduce you. Say hello, BlaXit family, it's Adrian.
Oh, hello, BlaXit family, it's Adrian. And I just want to ask an important question that has to keep coming up. And they always, people saying that, oh, Alkalo transfers is not worth it because Alkalos could double sell land and all that. So the question I want to ask Mr. Jallo or the Alkalo, when the Alkalo present the paperwork and now you take it to physical planning, do they do a background check to make sure that the land that we're getting from Mr. Jallo is legally Mr. Jallo owned? At what point in time do they check? Just in case that the land might be double sell. On what stage will they pick that up and stop the process because there's a double sale going on with the land? Or would that be picked up by physical planning?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Jallo.
Let me go on. Yeah. You are asking whether the Alkalos will double sell a piece of land. Before it used to happen, when we have these old Alkalos who are not schooled actually. But now with this younger generation, whatever a land is sold, they know that a particular land is sold. Before, those Alkalos we are talking about are not schooled. So it can happen at that time. But when the physical planning people, when you get the Alkalo transfer, you take this Alkalo transfer to the physical planning. The first thing that they check is they have to go to the land, take the coordinates. That's the purpose why they take the coordinates. When they take the coordinates, they will go and check whether this land has gotten any paper before. And then they will see it in their system that the land has got a paper already, so which implies that this land has been sold. It used to happen in those days, but now it does not happen at all.
Right.
You understand? Because what happens is the physical planning people will come and take the coordinates and compare it with whatever master plan they have in their offices. This is why sometimes the paperwork takes time, because they have to ascertain that this land has not been given to any other person before. So when it is given to you, it is yours. So any other person that comes to take that land again, buy that land again, when he goes to physical plan, they'll tell him, wait a minute, this land has been sold to Mr. Jallo, so you cannot take this land. So when you go to physical planning, you go to my land over there, you just take the coordinates, go to physical planning, tell them that I have got a portion here, I want to buy this land. When they click it, they will see my name straight. You understand? So it cannot happen that way.
Right.
Yeah, it cannot happen that way. That's bottom line.
Okay. So, Mr. Jallo,
Yeah.
Mr. Barrow,
Call him Alkalo.
But
Mr. Alkalo,
Call him
yeah,
himself.
Mr. Alkalo,
yeah.
we took you to a piece of land, and you were able to identify to us that the people on the land documents, were not the owners because there had been a recent transaction.
Yeah.
So you are another way for people to check ownership, because you're able to track it even before you get to physical planning.
Yeah.
So are you available to help people if they might want to check lands?
Yeah, I'm always available on that area. If anybody want to sell his land, I go there first, see the place. If it is, I told they have sold it before, I will tell the police these people have sold it below. Or the people who want to sell the land, if I told it's not their own land, I tell them these people is not they don't own the land. These are the people who own the land. There's no problem on that. Anytime you want to make any land transfers, I have to go up to the land and see the place. If it is correct, I told the person carry on. If it is always owned by someone, I told you it's not clear. You stop it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Age, any more questions before we close up today?
No,
We're
okay.
here in Mr. Jallo's office, everybody, in Bracama, in case you wondered where we were. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that's cleared up a lot of things. So what you're saying, there's a new system now that's been introduced. So the physical planning, everything now is computerized.
Yeah.
So say if someone, you sold the land to Juliet, when they got to there, they would do the background check and say, yes, Mr. Jallo is the rightful owner of this land. So they will proceed with the paperwork. Because that's one thing that's been going around, where people say, no, Alkalos, that double stand land, and I'm glad that you all have cleared that up. Some people do understand.
But the actual thing is, the Alkalos are not even selling land now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was only before that the Alkalos sell land because they have a lot of land remaining with them. But most of that land is sold to other people or given out to other people. So Alkalos don't even sell land. So what happens is the Alkalo will make paper for the people who want to resell their land. This is what happens. So Alkalos are selling and reselling land is not something that is a fact at this moment. You understand? So the fact is, the people, whenever I want to make paper for you, I have to call the Alkalo. You know that. Juliet and all of you know that before I make paper for you, even my own land, I cannot make paper. I have to call the Alkalo to say, yes, the land is there for him.
Yes.
So we make the paper for you. If the land is not there, the Alkali will say, look, my brother, there is no land for you there, so how can you make a paper out of this? Because the Alkali would not want to be dragged to the courts all the time because of his paper. That's the bottom line. When the Alkalo gives a paper, he has committed himself that you are the rightful owner, and then you are selling it to X, Y, and Z, and he is signing that and stamping it, which implies that when there is something out of that land which is chaotic a bit, what happens is they will call the Alkali, and the Alkali will have to go to the courts, and they don't want to go to be dragged to the courts to explain. So the Alkalis are not selling land now. Before it used to happen, the Alkalos will sell land, but then they have a lot of land because, as I said at the beginning, they are the first settlers in the village, so they have land all over, right? But they have given some to other people to settle with them. They have sold out certain parts of the land and so on and so forth, and now virtually they are left with no other, let's say, big lands except their reserves. You understand? So that's also, the Alkalis are not selling land. So there is no need to say the Alkalis will sell land to two people. Thank you.
Okay, last question. So say I bought a leased land, okay? I bought a leased land, and I've paid. When do I pay for the land? Maybe I should ask Mr. Jallo this. Sorry. So, Mr. Jallo, yeah? Say I was in the process of buying a leased land, okay? And at what point do I pay for the land? Because say I pay for the land, but the assignment isn't complete, and I've paid for the land, what happens?
What happens normally when it is a leased property? The lawyer will have to write an agreement between you and the owner of the land. And normally what happens is you pay for the paper transaction upon the agreement with the lawyer, because this most of the time a lawyer has to be present in this, a legal practitioner has to be present. And then what happens is you discuss with him, and upon your agreement you put in, for example, if the land is worth $1 million, the land that you are buying, you have agreed on $1 million, then what happens is you will have to make an agreement that you are going, because the paper process will also incur some money, which the owner, the seller, is going to remove and then make those papers for you. That is a transfer. If the person does not have money with him, he may ask you to put in that money, because you are the one who is buying, you are the one who is interested. So if the paperwork is going to cost him $50,000, he may say, now you are going to put in a deposit of $50,000 when we work out your papers. Then they will start working on your papers, and when the papers are out, when the assignment is out, you exchange cash, the rest of the cash with the papers, with the assignment. You exchange the rest of the cash with assignment. Certain times, depending on the agreement that you have, you may come and even pay everything after seeing the documents, where you have a legal person between you, and then you have signed certain things. You have said, wow, this land belongs to X, Y, and Z, it is clear, and then you are purchasing it from him, and this is the amount that you have agreed on, and then you put in this money. That depends on your agreement, because in Mandinka or in our local languages, we say you don't slaughter a bull without talking about something.
Okay.
You have to discuss something before you slaughter it. Before the person pays his money, there must be an agreement that is binding between him and the buyers.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking is because I was contacted by someone. They're not buying land through BlaXit or anything like that, but they called because I'm not experienced in lease land. I've never done lease land, but they called to ask me about the process because they've been in a very lengthy and drawn out process in terms of buying the lease, and the assignment of lease wasn't done. They fell out with their agent that they were working with, and now they neither own the land, but they neither have the money.
That is very interesting. As I said, you don't slaughter a bull without talking about something. You know, that will depend on what was their agreement. What paper have they given to them? Because it's a lease property, so therefore a legal person has to be present to process the papers. So, and the legal person will not just verbally take the money from these people and give it to these other people. I have never seen that. What I used to see is when the, for instance, I am in Sierra Leone, I need a land here, right? And then I am staying there and I am purchasing a land and it is a lease property. What happens is the lawyer, I have to send the money to the lawyer, and then all the agreements are going to be signed, and then the paper process will begin. If the person completes the paper process and then my lawyer is satisfied, then he can release this money. But you exchange money with the papers. When it comes to lease property, you exchange money with the papers. So, but it is a lease property, you have paid all your money, and then, you know, you do not even have an agreement. What's the agreement? If there is an agreement, that's the agreement that they follow.
Okay, that's great. Like I said, that's not a BlaXit situation. It was just a query. So I just wanted to have that answered on camera because they fell out with the agent, and so they're kind of stuck in limbo, and the deed assignment wasn't complete, and so the person involved said that they would have to resell the land for them to get back their money, but they don't understand because they didn't own the land, so they're in limbo. So that's why they asked me to ask your advice. So that one's for our friends over there in Canada. That's Mr. Jallo answering your question about the lease land in Bonto. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this would be my final question. How would you be able to assure people that it's okay for them to go and purchase the land? How would you be able to reassure them, our BlaXit subscribers?
Wait a minute, Age, I've got to ask you a question before you say this.
Yes.
When we bought our lands, I want you to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah. When we bought our lands here in the Gambia, where were we?
Right, we was in England and we didn't even know the area that the guy was telling us he was going to buy our land. He just said this is a very good area. They're going to construct a new motorway in the next couple of years, so it would be a good thing to purchase. We don't even know where he was talking about. I will send him all the money. He buy the land and he send us our papers. We're now living on that land. So
How many lands did we buy?
and we buy 3 pieces of land. Now we bring into you the Alkalo. We also bring into you the owner of the land. He is here for you. So if you purchase land to BlaXit and you're out there, when you come here to Gambia, we could bring you to the owner itself, and you could sit down in the room as we are now with the owner and the Alkalo, which could reassure you. So now I want Mr. Jallo to reassure you that sending your money here to BlaXit to purchase a land, that just don't worry about anything, is all here and everything is legit. And Mr. Jallo could confess to it, and you all could, when you all come here, you all could meet Mr. Jallo as every other person that purchased land did in the past. And our other agent, which is property, the same thing. Yeah? And these people, you could meet them anytime. So Mr. Jallo,
And there's always a representative like Keba.
and there's always a representative.
Like Keba
Yeah.
is
And
there.
I don't think Mr. Jallo gonna be risking his business by selling dodgy lands. Would you, Mr. Jallo?
Never, I don't think so. It's not only the land business that we are talking about, but I have been here in this Brikama for 25 years, and then what I was doing is only teaching. So you go everywhere. I have students who are they are everywhere. So I wouldn't like to stain my records because of certain things. So they are all assured that when the money comes to you and you say you've got a land for them, let them be rest assured that their money is put into the right place.
Okay, thank you. And just to end, I'd like to end with
Yeah.
you, Mr. Alkalo. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just reassure people that are wondering who are maybe abroad
Yeah.
and they want to invest in a piece of land here, and maybe they want to buy it before they come, they
Yeah.
want to buy it when they come, they want to buy it during their stay, they want to buy it when they go back, you know, because a lot of the people that have purchased land for us have actually been to Gambia before. The majority of people who buy land with BlaXit have already been, and because of the fact that most of our prices are really reasonable, between, you know, 75,000 all the way down to 45, you know, thousand, etc. And also development projects, which we have done, which have even been like 20,000 for development projects. So, you know, and that is courtesy of Mr. Jallo here, who have invested in the village for those projects to go ahead. So we got to say thank you to Mr. Jallo for investing in BlaXit as well. It's been a two-way process, and I can't thank you enough for enabling us to own property here in Africa at an affordable price when some people aren't so charitable. Thank you, Mr. Jallo.
Yeah. Thank you. No problem. I'm very welcome. Yes. I'm saying them, let them not be panic. Anytime they have learned from these people, even if in our area there, anytime we make any stamps or any paper, no doubt about that. It's a very clear land. I'm assuring them it's a very clear land, and I will never make a stamp to any paper which have the land have been sold to another people. And I will never do that. Let them continue the good job you are helping them. Let us all continue with that great job they are doing.
Thank you. And Mr. Jallo, just a last thing, right? So you have to come here for 1 second. Mr. Jallo. Yes. Before I close, just a last thing. I just want you to reassure. Okay. So last question, Mr. Jallo, and then we're closing up this interview. It's been fantastic. You're always a fountain of knowledge, and we appreciate you. You are truly a teacher. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of BlaXit for working with us and giving us this opportunity. There's going to be a series of programs featuring you, but I just want you to assure people for the last time, can people who were not born in the Gambia, like me, even though I am a Gambian, buy land in the Gambia using Alkalo transfer?
They can buy land using Alkalo transfer. They can buy land using Alkalo transfer. Since I started this business, I sold over 1,000 plots of land, and not all the lands that I sold are for Gambians. And what I give out is the Alkalo transfer, and some of them have developed these places, and then I can take you to certain places and show you the people I sold the land to, and then I gave them only the Alkalo transfer, and then from there they started processing it. So let them be assured that when you have an Alkalo transfer for a land, that land belongs to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Adrian, close up for me.
Right. What I'm going to say in closing, I know many of you have seen me from previous videos. I hardly smile, and you all know I'm a no-nonsense kind of person. I'm a no-nonsense kind of person. You understand? And my word is my bond. You know, my word is my bond. That's me. Anyone that know Adrian, whether from Montserrat, whether in England, anywhere, they know Adrian don't mess about. You know? And when we came here to Gambia, we had a 5-year plan that we set to get here. So that's why you see BlaXit will never come online complaining about anything. When we got here, we rent a 6-bedroom house with all air-conditioned room, everything. No problems, backup generator, everything. We had no issue because when we come here, we was financially stable to do so. And within a year, we built our home and we live there now. And we've been doing this before BlaXit even started because we was financially set to get to this country. And we pack 3 containers and send it over. We still have a shop that we get income from right where we have stuff still to sell. Juliet's brother, my brother-in-law, always there. He sent vehicles here for sale. Right now we have about 5 vehicles for him in our possession that we will sell to you. Right? We are not here to get involved in any funny, dodgy dealings. I don't ruin my reputation for no one. And if you realize BlaXit, what we do here, we help the community. We help the community. I know you all have made donations to go to Nema Kunku. All that money is accounted for. And all that money will be now transferred into the code bank account where BlaXit have no control over. Whatever money come here for donation will put to the purpose it come here for. Today we had a meeting with one of the managers of the National Disaster Agents. Yeah? So to discuss the way forward for Nemakunda. And there's a lot. Friday we have another meeting. So we're going to protocol and we're going to the due process so that you all would see where your money going to. Right? The money that we take is not for personal use. It's to help develop the country, help develop Gambia and the villages that need us the most. I'm a no-nonsense kind of person. Whatever been said online, this is Adrian coming to make corrections. Okay? So, rest assured that whatever lands are buying from BlaXit, they're all secured. If you want to, and remember, we have a base here. I have my property here. I have my land here. I have everything here. I repatriate here, live here. And we still have investments in England that we could divest at any time. We are financially stable. And I want that message to be very clear. We're here to help the Gambian community. And we put our money where our mouth is. Yeah? We don't mess about with people. We understand how hard it is to work in the West to earn an income. We've been there. I used to work as a bus driver. Then I went into the office as an operational supervisor. Sometimes I have to get at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to work, to open the garage for other drivers to come. Even in the height of winter, when snow on the road before any car is moving, sometimes I'm on my bicycle riding to work, or sometimes I'm in my car driving to work. And I know how hard it is. Yeah, for people to work and earn their money. I'm not into any nonsense. I'm a no-nonsense kind of person. I'm here. We live here. When you purchase a land of BlaXit, you come here, you sit in our house, and you go have a meal. We're not going to run away. We are here in the Gambia. Our base here in the Gambia. And everybody by now will know BlaXit. Yeah? So we're not going to be hiding. And the lands we're selling is affordable lands. If people want big plots of land, we tell them get here. When they're going to be large amount of money invested, you come here and we take it from there. But we purchase our lands, yeah, without ever seeing them. And to be honest with you, we purchase it and we haven't even seen it till the next year. And we also send the money to put the wall around it. Yeah? So as I'm saying, rest assured that the lands are buying from BlaXit is all clean land. Any issues, we will take full responsibility. Full responsibility. Because as I said, we are financially stable. And if you have any issues, we are here. Full responsibility, we will take that. Okay? We love you, BlaXit family. And we are here to help you repatriate to Africa. We are not here to exploit anyone. So rest assured that I'm a man of my word. I don't smile, I don't mess about. And you all could tell that from videos. No one gonna tarnish our reputation. My number is 278-6688. If you arrive in the Gambia and want to speak to me directly. My WhatsApp number is +44 77 276 54489 +44 77 276 54489. If you have any problems, any issues, call me direct. I don't mess about. Thank you, BlaXit family.
So BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. There you have it. So without further ado, I'm going to close off and I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you so much to you both, Alkalo And thank you so much to you, Mr. Jallo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, BlaXit family. One nation, one Africa. Thank you, BlaXit family. Please keep watching, please subscribing, and remember, follow your dreams.
Purchase your tracks today. 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 Purchase your tracks today.
Emperor made this.